Hello and welcome to today's event, your Total Reward Statement and Annual Benefit Statement Rollback Explained. My name is Darren. I'm one of the Stakeholder Engagement Managers in NHS Pensions. I'm joined by a number of my colleagues who will be making sure that everything's run smoothly in the background and will be assisting with the questions later on in the presentation. Next slide, please. So there will be the opportunity to ask questions in the session today. If you have any personal questions about your pension or have encountered an issue with your benefits statement, then please speak to your HR, payroll, pensions officer in the first instance, or alternatively, you can contact our member helpline or email account, and details of which can be found on the Contact Us page of our website. We will not be able to respond to any specific personal queries during this session, but you will be able to ask questions using the Q&A function that can be found at the top right of the screen. The Q&A box will open on the right-hand side of the screen, which can be used to post either anonymously or by using your own name by clicking the purple Ask a Question box. Questions will be reviewed and published by a moderator before showing on the screen, so this means there will be a slight delay, so please don't ask the same question again. Please keep your questions relevant to the topics we will be covering today, and we will not be able to answer any questions about any specific situations or specific cases. We will share links to various ways you can contact us with specific queries at the end of the presentation. Today's event is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel by searching NHS BSA NHS Pensions. Next slide, please. So in today's session, we're going to cover understanding the rollback of remedy period service, what a total reward statement or annual benefit statement is, what statement you will receive and how it's updated, how to access your statement, understanding your statement, and using your statement for retirement planning. Next slide, please. So in 2015, the government made changes to most public sector pension schemes, including the NHS pension scheme. These reforms did not apply to members closest to retirement who stayed in their legacy schemes with transitional protection. This means that members with full protection did not have to move to the reformed 2015 scheme at all. Members with tapered protection could stay in the existing scheme for longer than members without transitional protection. Members with no transitional protection had to move to the 2015 scheme on the 1st of April 2015. And the Court of Appeal later found that this discriminated against younger members. The government is removing this age discrimination from public sector pension schemes where transitional protection was introduced. The government's removing this discrimination in two parts. The first part was completed in 2022, with all active members now being members of the 2015 scheme. This provides equal treatment for all active pension scheme members. The second part is to put right or remedy the discrimination that could have taken place between the 1st of April 2015 and the 31st of March 2022. This is known as the remedy period. Only some members will be affected by rollback. If you joined the Public Service Pension Scheme after the 31st of March 2012, you will not be affected. From the 1st of October 2023, if you're a member of either no protection or tapered protection, any continuous service you had in the remedy period between the 1st of April 2015 to the 31st of March 2022 will be placed into the 1995-2008 scheme. This will now show on your updated annual benefit statement available in August 2024. This is called rollback. If you're affected if you joined a public service pension scheme on or before the 31st of March 2012 and you had pensionable service between the 1st of April 2015 and the 31st of March 2022, or your retirement date if that was earlier, or if you left service after the 31st of March 2012 but returned within 5 years. Your pensionable service was in the legacy scheme between the 1995 and 2008 scheme, or your pensionable service was in the 2015 scheme, but would have been pensionable service in the legacy scheme, but for the discrimination, or you did not choose to give up your transitional protection to move to the 2015 scheme, which is the option to give up protection. Development to show you a comparison on your annual benefit statement is currently underway, and we will be implementing this as soon as possible. At that time, we will hold another live event to show this to you. Next slide, please. So what is the total reward statement and annual benefit statement? Each member of the NHS pension scheme is entitled to one free age estimate every 12 months for each scheme that they have membership in. If you have access to the electronic staff record self-serve, which we refer to throughout this presentation as ESR, you will receive a total reward statement, also known as a TRS. This includes your personal information, employer benefits, and your annual benefit statement. If you are a non-ESR self-serve user, you will receive an annual benefit statement only, which is also known as an ABS. An ABS is different to a TRS because it does not include employment or local benefits information. However, an ABS will still provide a pension statement for NHS pension scheme members and an estimate of your pension benefits. We base this estimate on information provided to NHS pensions by your employer each year. Next slide, please. So the scheme year operates from the 1st of April to the 31st of March. And we update your pension record annually to the 31st of March using information sent to us by your employer. This needs to be with NHS pensions by the deadline of the 31st of May each year. Once all of the information is received, NHS pensions and your employer assess this and amend any errors as required. More information on this will be provided later in this presentation. NHS pensions take a snapshot of the data in June for the first statement refresh that takes place in August, and then again in October if a second refresh takes place in December. This second refresh doesn't always take place and is dependent on business requirements. We will then perform over 2 million calculations for both active and deferred members, and this information is then merged onto your statement. An assurance test is then completed to ensure the annual benefit statement is a true reflection of the data provided. There are some members that may not receive a statement, and further information on this and the actions you can take to receive an estimate will be explained later on. Please also note that if you are a GP in primary care or a non-GP provider, statements will always be a year behind due to how your pension information is processed. It's also important to understand that these statements are not live documents. It is a snapshot. Therefore, if your employer makes any amendments to your record after the date we run the calculations, this won't show on your statement until we refresh them again. Next slide, please. We have a dedicated total reward statement web page, which provides you with up-to-date information on both the annual benefit statements and total reward statements. This is split into two areas: the employee section and the employer toolkit. If you are a HR, payroll or pensions officer in your organisation, this toolkit is available for you to support members in how to assess their statements. As explained, depending on your circumstances, you'll receive either a total reward statement or the annual benefit statement each year. Next slide, please. If you are an ESR user, there is a direct link within the employee section on the website that will take you to the ESR login. Once logged in, you can click on the View My TRS by clicking the link. And if you have any issues accessing your statement via ESR, we recommend that you speak with your employer's pension officer in the first instance, as ESR is a payroll system that NHS pensions don't have direct access to. Next slide, please. If you are actively contributing or a deferred member of the NHS pension scheme, by the end of September 2024, all members will have received registration information for our new digital platform, My NHS Pension. You can access this via the dedicated web page or on our member hub. Via the portal, you can view and manage your NHS pension in one place. This currently includes viewing a copy of your annual benefit statement, viewing the personal details that we hold for you, viewing your salary history and service employment. You can also provide additional contact details such as an email address, and finally add and amend your nominations. You can also look forward to more features to come in future updates as the portal is developed further. If you've not received a registration letter, or if you're a deferred member, meaning you don't currently pay into the NHS pension scheme but have previously, and you also don't have access to ESR, please use our Contact Us form on the website and select the service My NHS Pension Registration. Or alternatively, you can email us on nhsbsa.mynhspension@nhsbsa.nhs.uk. If you've already contacted us to request a copy of your statement and you're a non-ESR user, we'll be in touch soon to invite you to register for My NHS Pension. Next slide, please. So the screenshots I'm about to show you are from a member's perspective who is accessing their TRS via ESR. So to access your pension information, simply click the NHS Pension tab on your TRS. It's always best to download or print off your latest statement once they become available, as they do get replaced after each refresh, and we also cannot access your annual benefit statement on our systems until you have done so yourself. Next slide, please. So benefits are calculated separately for each section or scheme due to them having different regulations. More information on how benefits are calculated for each section or scheme are detailed on the Total Reward Statement page. And we also recommend you attend our Introduction to the NHS Pension Scheme and its Benefits event, which is free to sign up to. So the first statement here shows information for a member that has benefits in both the 1995 and the 2015 scheme. The second shows information for a member that has benefits in both the 2008 and 2015 scheme. There are two tabs under NHS Pension for each of these examples. Next slide, please. The first statement on this slide shows information for a member that has benefits in all three of the 1995, 2008 and 2015 schemes. To view the separate statements, you just need to click on the tab with that section or scheme name. The second statement here shows information for a member that had benefits in just the 2015 scheme only. So depending on your membership and circumstances will depend on what you will see on your TRS. Next slide, please. When viewing the 2015 scheme benefits, you'll be able to view your annual benefit statement and pensionable earnings statement tabs. The pensionable earnings statement provides you with a list of the pensionable earnings for each scheme year that you have in the 2015 scheme. And more information on this will be provided when we talk through an example statement later on in this session. Next slide, please. As all members are now contributing to the 2015 scheme, a final salary link will be applicable if you have no break in service between schemes or if a break in pensionable service is 5 years or less. This means that when you retire, your 1995-2008 scheme benefits will be based on your pensionable pay on or near your retirement and not at the point you transition to the 2015 scheme. If you've changed to part-time, your 1995-2008 scheme benefits will be worked out on the notional whole-time equivalent. However, if there is a break in pensionable service of more than 5 years, your benefits will then be decoupled or separated and will be calculated accordingly. If you only have benefits in the 2015 scheme, then the salary link is not relevant to you. So now we're going to talk you through an example of an annual benefit statement for a member that has benefits in the 1995, 2008 and 2015 schemes. The statements will show membership for the members that are affected by the McLeod judgment, and the membership in the 1995-2008 scheme has been rolled back to the 31st of the 3rd, 2022. You will notice that your statements prior to this statement will show membership in the 1995-2008 scheme up to the date when you moved to the 2015 scheme, which with the earliest date being the 1st of the 4th, 2015. We're firstly going to look at an annual benefit statement for a member who has benefits in the 1995 section. There is little difference between the 1995 section statement and the 2008 section statement, and we will explain the difference between the statements as we go along. So the bold writing on this document would not appear on your statement. This is just for explanation purposes. On all statements at the top, you will be shown 5 key pieces of information. The first is your membership number. This is your reference number for your NHS pension. If you have multiple employments, these will all show under the same membership number. If you were to leave your current NHS role and took on a role within the NHS elsewhere, this number would again remain the same. The second is the date you first joined the NHS pension scheme. This is the date on this particular statement when you joined the 1995 section. This will be different on each section or scheme statement if you have been a member of more than one scheme. This can be different to the start date of your employment if you have previously chosen to opt out of the NHS pension scheme. The third is your normal pension age. This is the age that you can claim your benefits without a reduction. The retirement age for the 1995 section is 60. If you have special class status or mental health officer status, this would be 55. And for the 2008 section, this is 65. Fourth, we have pay. This is the pensionable pay that was reported by your employer at the last update. For the 1995-2008 section, if you work part-time, this would be the full-time equivalent. And fifth, we have updated to. This is the date that you last contributed to the 1995 section or the 2008 section of the NHS pension scheme. Next, we have a standard benefits table. Please note that the benefits shown may be subject to tax depending on your individual circumstances. Shown here is your pension. This is the annual amount of pension that is available based on the current value of your benefits. To work out an estimated monthly amount, divide this figure by 12. Lump sum. For the 1995 section, there is a mandatory lump sum. This is usually 3 times the amount of your annual pension. For the 2008 section, there is no mandatory lump sum, unless you were a 2008 optant, where you moved your 1995 section benefits to the 2008 section, as the membership before the 31st of the 3rd, 2008 still has a mandatory lump sum. Adult dependents pension. This is the annual amount of pension on the current value of your benefits that your civil partner, spouse or nominated partner will receive in the event of your death. Again, to work out an estimated monthly annual amount, divide this figure by 12. Reckonable membership. This is the membership that is used to calculate your benefits. If you have had a transfer into the 1995 section or have an added years contract, the membership would also be included here. Calendar length membership. This is a number of calendar years your membership reflects. This figure may be higher than your reckonable membership for members that have worked part-time. For example, if you have worked part-time hours that are the equivalent to 50% of full-time hours over a 10-year period, this would show as 10 calendar years, but you would only have 5 years in your reckonable membership. Hypothetical annuity cost. This is not your pension amount. If you were to buy the exact same benefits on the open market for pensions, this figure is how much it would cost you. Underneath this table, there is a disclaimer which this is an indication only of what you might receive. There are also hyperlinks within the paragraph that will take you to areas of the main NHS pensions website for more information. Scrolling down further takes us to benefits if you take the maximum lump sum. This table relates to your lump sum, which is also known as pension commutation. This is where you can exchange £1 of your annual pension for a £12 lump sum payment. For the 1995 section, this will increase the mandatory lump sum that you will receive. For 2008 section members, this allows you to create a lump sum payment. This choice is made at retirement. The figures in the table show what your annual pension would look like if you were to take the maximum lump sum available. The annual pension has reduced to £10,683.51, which is a reduction of £2,611 in order to create a lump sum of £71,223.37, which is an increase of £31,338.24 from the mandatory lump sum. The adult dependent pension is also shown, which is not impacted by this choice. On the next page of the statement, we have your death benefit nominations. There are various nominations that you can make to determine who receives eligible benefits in the event of your death, which is payable as a lump sum. You can nominate as many individuals as you want to receive a percentage of the amount of your benefits, or alternatively, you can nominate one organisation. But if you choose to nominate an organisation, you cannot nominate any individuals. Please note, if you wish to nominate a child, you can, as there is no minimum age requirement. If you are married or in a civil partnership, you do not need to complete this nomination, as they are automatically entitled to this amount. In the example here, you can see that no nomination has been recorded. This is because in this example, the member is married, so no name would appear on the statement. If you do not have a spouse or a nomination, this death benefit lump sum would go to your estate. If you have a non-legal partner and you want to ensure that they receive your lump sum on death benefit, you should complete a death benefit nomination form, which is available on our website. Please note, you cannot have different nominations for different sections or schemes. You can also nominate a partner to receive your adult dependent pension benefits, and you can only nominate one person for the adult dependent benefits. There is a different form that you must complete, and more information on this can be found again on our website. The next page shows information including contributions and home address, which we will talk about in detail later. The next statement we're going to look at is for a member of the 2015 scheme. This is an example of a member that had joined the 2015 scheme on the 1st of the 4th, 2022. This statement will show membership for members that are affected by the McLeod judgment. Members who joined the NHS pension scheme for the first time on or after the 1st of the 4th, 2015, or had a break of 5 years or more will not be affected by this judgment, and the date you will see for the 2015 scheme can be any date from the 1st of the 4th, 2015 onwards. You will notice that your statements prior to this year's statement will show members in the 1995-2008 scheme up to the date that you moved to the 2015 scheme, with the earliest date being the 1st of the 4th, 2015. So the 5 pieces of information at the top of the statements are the same on each statement, which we already covered with the previous statement. The 2015 scheme has a normal normal pension age of 65 or state pension age, whichever is later. In this example, this age is shown as 67, as this is the state pension age for this particular member. Updated to, this is when your record was last updated to, which should be the latest scheme year. If you are a GP or a non-GP provider, this will always be a year behind. Standard benefits. The layout for this table is the same as the previous statement. However, in the 2015 scheme, you will not see reckonable or calendar length membership, as this is not used to calculate your benefits for this scheme. You are still shown the annual pension amount, the adult dependent pension, and hypothetical annuity cost. For the 2015 scheme, there is no automatic lump sum, so this will show as blank. And underneath is a disclaimer explaining that this is an indication only. Benefits if you take the maximum lump sum. As in the previous statement, this table relates to your lump sum, which is also known as pension commutation. There is no automatic lump sum for the 2015 scheme, but this is where you have the option to create one if you wish to do so. You can create a lump sum by exchanging £1 of your annual pension for a £12 lump sum payment. The figures in the table show what your annual pension would look like if you were to take the maximum lump sum available. The annual pension has reduced in order to create the lump sum, and the adult dependence pension hasn't been affected by that choice. On the next page of your statement, you will find information about death benefits. The death benefit lump sum amount is only shown on the statement when you are actively contributing. The statement shows the pay figure that is used to calculate the death benefits, and it shows you the lump sum amount, which is approximately twice your annual pensionable pay at the time of your death. This lump sum will be paid to your spouse or nominee, or if you have neither, this amount will go to your estate. If you are a deferred scheme member, this means that you have left the scheme. The lump sum amount will be based on your accrued annual pension benefit. Death benefit nominations. As advised earlier, you can choose to nominate a number of individuals or one organisation to receive your death benefits. Please remember to keep your nominations up to date if your circumstances change. Next, we have your NHS pension contributions. These figures provide you with the total contribution amounts that have been paid by yourself and your employer in the last scheme year. If a member has an additional pension or early retirement reduction buyout, also known as an ERBO, the contributions that have been made would also be shown here. Again, underneath is shown the address and statement disclaimer as on the previous statement. In the 2015 scheme, you will also be shown a pensionable earnings statement. As a member of the 2015 scheme, the current value of your pension is 1/54th of your pensionable earnings in each scheme year. The pension earned is then revalued each year as shown in the table. The table shows a breakdown of each year, the pensionable earnings for that year, how much pension was earned, and the revaluation figure. We will go through this in further detail shortly. If you've transferred a pension in when you joined the 2015 scheme, the transfer in will appear in this table under the pensionable earnings and pension earned for the year that the transfer in was made. A transfer in must be made within the first 12 months of joining the NHS pension scheme, and for more information on this, please visit our website. On the last page, you will see a glossary, and the glossary will be shown on each statement that is available to you to assist with your understanding. So, as I advised earlier, the period between the 1st of the 4th 2015 and the 31st of the 3rd 2022 is known as the remedy period. The first stage of the remedy is rollback. Only some members will be affected by rollback. If you're affected by the changes to public service pension schemes, sometimes known as McLeod or the Public Service Pension Remedy, you'll be asked if you would like to receive legacy scheme or reform scheme pension benefits for your membership during the remedy period, which is between the 1st of April 2015 and the 31st of March 2022. We are working towards offering members this choice on retirement, and your total reward statement will be updated to show this information. When these become available, NHS Pensions will host more live events to explain what this is and what it will mean to you. If you're retiring before this is available, we'll contact you and ask you to make your choice at a later time. We'll provide you with information at the time to help you make this decision. Asking you to make this choice when you retire means you'll know exactly what you're entitled to under each option. This will make it easier to decide what's best for you. Next slide, please. So following on looking at the example of the annual benefits statement, this shows how your 2015 pension would grow over time. Your pension earned each year will be increased annually by a rate known as revaluation. In this scheme, the revaluation rate is determined by the Treasury order plus 1.5% each year, and the Treasury notifies NHS Pensions of the value of the percentage to be applied as part of revaluation. The pension earned in the scheme year, which is April to March, is then revalued on the 1st of April of the following year and each subsequent scheme year until you retire or leave. For example, the Treasury order in 2024 was 6.7%. With the additional 1.5% added, the pension was then revalued by 8.2% at the beginning of the following year. The revaluation rate may go up or down and may even be a negative amount. If you leave the scheme before becoming entitled to claim your retirement benefits, then annual revaluation stops. It is then replaced by the addition of pensions increase, which is used to maintain the value of your pension against rises in the cost of living. Your total annual pension is worked out by adding all of the parts from each year together. Next slide, please. To calculate your total pension benefits, you will need to add up all of the annual pension amounts together from each of the scheme's statements. Please keep in mind that the normal pension age will be different for each of those sections. So if you claim benefits at the same age for each section, the figures can be reduced. For example, if you claim your 1995 section benefits on age grounds at age 60, you will get your full entitlement with no reduction for that section. If you decide to apply for your 2015 scheme benefits at the same age of 60, the 2015 scheme will be reduced due to claiming these early. This would also be the same if you took the 2008 section at 65 and the 2015 scheme at the same time. If you only have 2015 scheme benefits, you would receive this amount upon retirement at the normal retirement age. If you wish to take this earlier, it would be reduced. The examples all show that you would add the amounts from each statement to get your total pension benefits. You don't have to claim all of your pension benefits at the same age. For example, you could choose to claim your 1995 section benefits at age 60, but you could leave your 2015 scheme benefits until a later date. That choice is entirely up to you. Next slide, please. So we've just explained what is included in your statement, and I'm now going to explain what is not included. If you have protection of pay, this is not included in calculations for members in the 1995 or 2008 scheme membership. If you have any additional pension or early retirement reduction buyout contracts, also known as ERBOs, the amounts paid are shown on the contribution section of your statement, but they are not included in the overall totals. If you do require an estimate to include your protection of pay, additional pension or ERBO, these estimates can be produced and you can request them directly from NHS Pensions up to 12 months before you retire. If you have an election for scheme pays, then this deduction is also not shown or included in your annual benefits statement. The reason for this is that we are unable to estimate the scheme pays deduction, as this will be based on your age and the interest accrued when you actually come to retire. Finally, no projections can be shown for any section or scheme, and all benefits will be calculated to current value. If your record's not been updated to the current year end, once produced, it will only show up to the last update that NHS pensions have processed. Next slide, please. If you believe information for your statement is missing, then some additional work may be required before a statement can be released during the next refresh. If the missing information is in relation to your current employment, then you should contact your HR, payroll or pensions officer directly. In England, if you are a GP or a non-GP provider, then you need to contact Primary Care Support England in the first instance through the PCSE online portal. If you are in Wales and are a GP or a non-GP provider, then you must contact your local health board. If you are unable to resolve your issues with your employer, you can contact NHS Pensions directly via the member helpline to support you in any membership queries you have. And we can also work with your employer to resolve this. If any amendments are made after the data cut is taken, then no changes will be made on your statement until the statements are refreshed. As I mentioned earlier, these are not live documents. Next slide, please. To produce a statement, there are several processes undertaken to ensure that the figures are a true reflection of the information provided by your employer. If you receive the notification that we have not been able to produce an annual benefit statement or total reward statement, there could be various reasons why this might happen. This could be because you're not a scheme member of the NHS pension scheme, or you have joined partway through the last scheme year, so have yet to receive any information from your employer. There is not an exact match between the data in your NHS pensions record and your electronic staff record or ESR. We may need to manually calculate your annual benefit statement because your scheme membership pattern is complicated. Or further investigation is required. This could be because we have a query about the data on your pension record that needs to be resolved before we can produce a statement. Next slide, please. If you are unable to access your statement, you may be able to request an estimate through your employer. However, we are aware that not many employers do provide this service. If your employer is unable to assist, you can contact us to request one directly from NHS Pensions. You can use the contact details on the screen to request an estimate, and these details can be found on the Contact Us section of the website. If you are going to contact the help desk, please ensure that you provide your membership number, full name, date of birth, and your address, including your postcode. This will help us to trace your record and confirm that we are in contact with the correct member. If you have previously contacted us and have added a password, you will also need to include this as part of that communication. Next slide, please. So up next is a short video which will explain how to request an estimate directly from NHS Pensions if your annual benefit statement is not available. So I'll just play this video and then I'll return and speak to you a little bit about it. Okay, just to recap the video, step 1 there mentions the TRS ABS, which we've covered off in today's session. Step 3 mentions charges. So an example of a chargeable estimate is if your pension is brought into divorce proceedings and you require evaluation. And more information on this can be found on the estimates page of our website. If we move back to step 2, this leads us nicely into the next section of today's event, which is about how to use your total reward statement and annual benefit statement for early retirement planning. And next slide, please. So for those who aren't aware, we have an early retirement calculator available for members to get estimated figures of the impact on your pension. You will need to have your annual benefit statement to hand, as you need to input your annual benefit statement figures into the calculator. If you are a member of the 1995 section and you're able to retire from that section from age 50 to 55, the calculator will unfortunately not work for you, as it doesn't currently allow for a retirement age below 55. If you match the criteria to retire before the age of 55 and you require an estimate, please contact us directly. If you are in multiple schemes, you will need to complete the calculator for each section or scheme separately. And then if you've used the same age, you can add them together to get your total early retirement figures. Next slide, please. So this is a short video which will show you an example of using the early retirement calculator. While it plays, my colleague will add a link to the calculator into the Q&A for you. Here is an example of the retirement calculator. You will need a copy of your latest annual benefit statement to calculate the reduction in your benefits. We are going to calculate benefits for the 2008 section and the 2015 scheme, if they were to be taken at the age of 60, which is before the normal pension age for each of these sections or schemes. The first question is, are you an active member? The answer here would be no. That's because all members have transitioned to the 2015 scheme on or after the 1st of April 2015. You will then be asked which section or scheme you were in. You will need to check your annual benefit statement, and this will show you which section or scheme statement you are looking at. In this case, it's the 2008 section. Then you'll be asked, do you have membership in the 2015 scheme? If you are actively contributing to the NHS pension scheme, then the answer would be yes. You would have membership in the 2015 scheme. This is because all members transition to this scheme on the 1st of April 2022. If you have opted out of the scheme or you have left NHS employment, then you would put no, as you are not actively contributing. You will then need to enter your date of birth. Then it asks for your retirement date. This is the date that you want to claim these benefits from. We have used age 60 in this example. You will then need to enter the date of update from the annual benefits statement. This is the date the sectional scheme is updated to. So for the 2008 calculation, this will be the 31st of March 2015. You will then need to enter the total amount of reckonable membership. This is because the 2008 section uses the reckonable service to calculate the benefits. The statement shows 5 years and 324 days reckonable membership. If the statement shows that you have calendar length service, this will also need to be included on the calculator. Not all statements will show this. If not shown, just use that reckonable membership figure again. Then input the reckonable pay, which is the pay figure from the top of your statement. The next box will ask for your annual pension amount and the survivor pension amount. Both figures are taken from the standard benefits table. As you are completing the table, the early retirement information and figures have been populated below. The first figure would show the annual amount of pension that you would receive if you were to take the 2008 benefits at age of 60. Below this, you will see the figure for the optional lump sum, and then the reduced pension amount if you opted to commute some of your pension. It also shows the survivor pension, which is not reduced by taking your pension early. We are going to calculate benefits for the 2015 scheme if they were to be taken at the age of 60, which is before the normal pension age for that scheme. The first question is, are you an active member? The answer would be yes if you are currently contributing, and no if you have left NHS employment or are no longer contributing to the scheme. You will then need to select 2015 scheme. Then you need to enter your date of birth. This is followed by the retirement date. This is the date you want to claim these benefits from. We have used age 60 in this example. You will then need to enter the updated to date from the top of your annual benefit statement. It then asks for your pensionable earnings, which is the pay figure found at the top of the annual benefit statement. You will then be asked for your annual pension amount and the survivor pension amount. Both figures are taken from the standard benefits table. You will then need to add your normal pension age in years and months. For this example, we have used 67 years and no months. As you are completing the table, the early retirement information and figures have been populated below. The first figure would show the annual amount of pension that you would receive if you were to take the 2015 benefits at the age of 60. Below this, you will see the figure for the optional lump sum, and then the reduced pension amount if you opted to commute some of your pension. It also shows the survivor pension, which is not reduced by taking your pension early. Okay, next slide, please. So as mentioned in the video, this table shows you the amounts that the pension in the 2008 section and the 2015 scheme will be reduced by if you wanted to take them at age 60, which is before the normal pension age for that section or scheme. The retirement pension amounts are annual figures, and you just need to divide it by 12 to get the estimated monthly figure. For the annual pension, the total reduced amount would be £4,832.40. Using the reduced figures, if you were to take the maximum optional lump sum by using commutation, the amount available would be £20,700. Then this would result in the annual pension being further reduced to £3,107.40. The survivor's pension would remain at £2,326.11, regardless of the options you take with your own benefits. A reminder for members in the 1995-2008 scheme, please select no on the calculator for are you an active member for these sections, and then yes if you are an active member of the 2015 scheme. Next slide, please. So in today's session, we've covered understanding the rollback of remedy period service, what a total reward statement or annual benefit statement is, what statement you will receive and how it's updated, how to access your statement, understanding your statement, and using your statement for retirement planning.